So, right. So these 5 types of drilling machines we have seen last class. So now we can see the remaining types and then we can proceed for further syllabus. So what I will do, okay, I'll make it the presentation mode. So one more important drilling machine is turret type drilling machine. So you already seen in lathe. So turret lathe, what is there? So the multiple tools can mount in a single tool post. You can keep multiple tools. So here also same thing. So in turret drilling machine, we have a turret. Maybe you can see it here. So this is a typical turret. Hexagonal turret is there. So in this hexagonal turret, each face you having a different kinds of tools. So drilling machines of different sizes, or maybe in addition to drilling machine, we are having other operations like reaming, tapping, other operations are there. So those cutting tool also you can mount on the different sides, so that without stopping off your process, you can continue the operation. Once you have fixed the workpiece on the table, so without stopping of the machines, one after other, you can perform the operations and you can make the finished object without any stopping, so that you can increase the productivity of the machines, or increasing the production, reducing the production time, and thereby you are increasing the production. So the stations are set up with a variety of tools, as whatever you can see in this turret. So different kind of tools you can mount on this. We will take this pointer. Okay. So this is a typical turret. So in this turret is considering as a variety station. So right. So turret is considered as a station here. So in this turret, so multiple variety of tools of numerical control also you can do this. So variety of tools you can mount on this, and once one operation is completed, then you can by rotating this, by using proper linkages. So you can move this turret other side, and other cutting tool maybe come in contact with the workpiece and perform the operation. Similar to the turret lathe, whatever the turret lathe, whatever the turret you've seen, so which is replacing the tailstock. So same thing. So here, whatever the spindle is there, so on the spindle we have mounted the turret. So two fixtures can be located side by side on the work table, thus permitting loading and unloading of one part while the other part is being machined. So what happened here? So in this, maybe you can have the two different work holding devices can mount side by side. So one work holding device, the operations can perform, and other maybe you can loading unloading can be possible to do. So that without stopping of the machine, without wasting your time, so even loading and unloading also is parallelly is happening. So as the work is progressing, so like that you can utilize the time effectively and increase the productivity. So in same time, in maybe in 1 day or maybe 1 hour, so more number of components you can manufacture. So this is the advantage of turret drilling machine. Then coming to deep hole drilling machine. So deep hole drilling machine is similar to the normal drilling machine, whatever your upright drilling machine you're seeing, similar to that only. But only thing, the whatever the holes are there in this, we can make it very deep holes. So that's why. So your whatever the structure, whatever the construction of the machine is there, so accordingly we need to modify. It has modified. So these machines are used for drilling holes whose depth exceed normal drill size. So normally what happened, whatever the drill holes we are making, so we used to be making some kind of standard sizes. Maybe depth is somewhere about 2 diameter or maybe 3 diameter, not more than that, with using a normal drilling machine. But if depth of the drill hole is more than what we required, so in that case, we need to have this deep hole drilling machine. So this is also called as the barrel drilling machine. So because normally using this kind of drilling machine, we are making holes in barrels. Maybe in gun barrels, if you say, so in that you see whatever the barrel is there, barrel is very long. So if you compare with the diameter to length ratio, it is very high. So diameter to length ratio is very high. So that kind of making holes, whatever the holes are there, those kind of holes we can make on these deep hole drilling machines. So these machines are either horizontal or vertical. So previously, whatever the drilling machine we have seen, so all the drilling machine normally drill bits are vertical and making a vertical holes. Or maybe in radial drilling machine we can adjust particular inclination, particular angle, and you can make it. But normal standard practice are there. Our drilling machines are mostly in vertical. So depending upon the requirement, we can make it into the horizontal also especially in radial drilling machine. But these drilling machines, so this whatever the deep hole drilling machine, this can be vertical, can be horizontal. So sometimes what happens, deep holes is not possible to make in vertically. So in that case, maybe we used to have the vertical drilling, horizontal drilling machines also. The work or the drill may be revolved. Most machines are of the horizontal constructions normally, because why? If your vertical means you need to keep your the workpieces to be go very long, right? So that's why to avoid that one. So balancing of workpieces in vertical conditions are little difficult. That's why normally deep hole drilling machines used to be have horizontal. So whatever you have seen in this, so in this picture, so maybe this you can do your drill bit. So just this is the workpiece and this is the drill bit. So drill bits are here not vertical. It's the drill bit is in horizontal position. So normally in horizontal deep drilling drill bits. So these machines are very useful for drilling deep holes in rifles or nothing but barrels. So crankshafts. Normally in crankshaft also maybe you can see whatever the crank is there. So along with the crank inside you need to have a deep holes are required to maintain lubrication as well as for cooling purposes. So those holes also used to make on these deep hole drilling machines. So normal conventional drilling machines, maybe you can depth of the drill is not very high. So maybe if you compare with the diameter of the drill bit, so maybe it is 2 times or maybe 3 times maximum we can permit. So not more than that. If more than that depth is there, then we need to have this kind of deep hole drilling machine. If you take the basic mechanism of deep hole, this is similar to that only, but only thing because its only construction is horizontal. So when is horizontal, maybe you can the mechanism to remove the chips are maybe little different. So very deep holes here, L by D ratio is 6 to 30. So previous cases, normal drilling machine, I told you, it may be diameter in maximum 2, 3, or maybe up to 5, maybe you can use that normal drilling machine. But if it is a drilling machine, the length is more than 6 times of the diameter. That is L by D ratio is more than 6. So normally we used to use this deep hole drilling machine. So 6 L by D ratio 6 to even up to 30 also we can use this. Required for rifle barrels, long spindles, oil holes. So in crankshaft, whatever I told you, the deep holes whichever is there, which is required for the lubrications, normally using this. So bearing, connecting rod, etc., are very difficult to make for slenderness of the drill. Normally, slenderness means length is very high compared with the diameter. So high slenderness is very difficult to drill with conventional. So that's why we used to have this special purpose drilling machine is called the deep hole drilling machine. So this kind of drilling machine cannot be done in ordinary drilling machine. That's why we used to go because this much depth of holes is difficult to make by normal drilling machine. It's need to machine like deep holes drilling machines such as gun barrels with horizontal axis, which is provided with it. In this, if you take in this, so this is a typical drill bit, right? So the drill bit is when with rotating about its axis, so it is removing the material. So this removing the material in this there is a special arrangement also may provide. So inside maybe you having some cooling arrangement because this your drill bit has to go very deep into the workpiece. It's providing some kind of cooling as well as this coolant we are providing, and as well as you can have a flat flutes in this to remove the chips. So chips are removing by in surface maybe you having some flat flutes. So in that way we are removing. So normally in normal conventional drills are nothing but drill bits. We used to have helical grooves are there. That's why we used to call it as a twist drill. But here normally whatever the grooves are there, grooves used to be have straightened grooves. So then coming to drill. So this is a typical drill. So if you say normally for conventional machines, whatever the drill we are using, so the cutting tool. So this is the typical drill bit or nothing but this used to call it as a twist. So in this, the basic parts of drill, if you take, so this portion which is inserting in the machine is called as the shank. So this portion of the workpiece is called as the shank. And this, whatever the remaining portion, this portion which is going into the material and removing the going into the workpiece and removing the material is called as a body. So body of the drill bit or twist drill. So in this body, complete this things is considering as a body. So in that, maybe you having a different portions are there. So whatever the groove is there, so this groove is considering as a flute, and this whatever the projection is there, so whatever the solid portion is there, so this solid portion is considered as a web. So this is web and this is the flute. And in this flute, so in this whatever the body portion about the flute, so we used to have a cutting edge. Actually, this portion is considering as a secondary cutting edge. So in this cutting edge, normally it is very sharp. So to avoid any breakages, so maybe they're providing some kind of small margin in this. So this whatever the portion that small thickness whatever this providing is considering, this portion is considering as a margin. And similarly, actually primary cutting edges used to come in here. The front portion of the drill bit, which is penetrating into the workpiece. So in that, whatever the sharp edges are there, so those sharp edges is called as a primary cutting edge. So basic, actually, main cutting is happening by this cutting edges, not by these cutting edges. So these cutting edges only is doing for secondary operation. If any material is remaining or any material is connected to the surface, so that material only is removing. And this main purpose of this is to provide this groove is to remove the chips, whatever the chips are there, because you see your complete workpiece is like this, right? So whatever the excess material is coming in, so that excess material has to have some passage to go to that remove that excess material in the form of chips. So we use this kind of flutes are there. So these flutes main purpose is to remove the chips, and as well as if required any coolants, that coolant also can supply through this. So the main purpose is this only. If you take and the side view, so this is a front view. If you see, if you take the side view, it look like this. So in this, whatever the cutting, this actually cutting edges are this one. So whatever you say, so this is the chisel edge. Cutting edge is nothing but chisel edge, and this is also a cutting edges only. And this portion, which is backside of this one, is called as a heel. And this there is some kind of clearance is providing always. So normally in drill, what happened, as initially your diameter is less, so as it goes on, there is a small tapering is there in the drill. So that whatever the diameter difference between the shank and this drill, so that is considering as a clearance. So this clearance is very important. So if this clearance is not there, so what happened, your tool may get damaged, and also your working surface, whatever the workpiece surface is there, that also may damage. To avoid that, this kind of clearance used to provide in this. And whatever the cutting edges are there, so this cutting edge is also called as a lip. So this is a typical cutting edge. So and this is whatever this is called this clearance, and also it's considering as a margin. So if you want to explain this, maybe in a this is one more side views are there. So this is considering as a margin, whatever the projection we have provided. So normally in cutting tools, normally we used to give one margin or maybe two margin. But if more accurate machining, maybe you have the multiple margins also can provide. So this whatever the edge is there, so this edge is considering as a chisel edge, and whatever the point is there, this is considering as a point. This whatever the sharp edge is there, which is penetrating into the workpiece, so that is called as a point. So this points normally is made by intersection of two cutting edges. So these angle between these two cutting edges is considering as a point angle, and this on which the chip is flowing. So normally we seen when we discuss about first unit. So in cutting tools, so normally the surface of the cutting tool, which is on which the chip is flowing, is called as a face. So here also same thing. So whatever the flute positions in that, whatever the surface is there, so that surface is considering as a face, and this is the cutting lip, right? So these things maybe what I will do, I'll just explain to you with a video. So maybe here maybe you can see there is a video is there. We'll go back. So this video, just give me some time. So this is a YouTube video. This maybe you can hear in this maybe clearly explained.
In this video, we are going to talk about drill bits, or simply a drill, the cutting tool in a drilling machine. Drilling is a machine operation where a hole is made on a workpiece with the help of the rotating and feed motions of a drill bit. Drill bits come in various sizes, types, and materials, and they have a complex geometry and construction. So, let's begin with the parts of a drill bit. There are three main components: shank, body, and drill point. The shank is the portion by which the tool is held. This part is called the body of the drill bit. And this is the tool point, or just point, of the drill, where the cutting takes place. The shank may be straight or tapered. A straight shank is generally held using a chuck, while a tapered shank is held in the spindle directly. The body has several parts. Often the body is back tapered, that is, it becomes thinner towards the shank. This is done to provide clearance between the drill and workpiece to prevent friction and heating. There are helical grooves on the body called flutes. They have two main functions. One, to allow the cutting fluid or lubricant to reach the cutting point, and two, to provide an exit for the chips that are formed. This is the helix angle of the flute. Drill bits with smaller helix angle are called slow spiral drills, while those with larger helix angle are called fast spiral drills. Fast spiral drills are weaker, but they provide better lifting power, so they are used in deep holes. The stronger, slow spiral drills are limited to shallow holes. The part of the body between the flutes is the land. This is the part that provides torsional strength to the drill bit. There is a small raised section here called margin. This prevents jamming and rubbing of the drill and provides the actual cutting diameter. There is generally single margin, but there could be double or triple margins for very high precision and specialized works. The web is the solid portion of the drill bit, that is the thickness measured between the flutes. The lighter and weaker webs are 14 to 16% of the cutting diameter, while heavier webs for heavy-duty drills are up to 25 to 40%. The web is generally thinnest at the drill point and grows thicker towards the shank. However, some webs are constant throughout the length of the body. Now, let's move on to the drill point. These are cutting lips, or just lips. They do the actual cutting job. This is called the chisel edge. It is the end of the web that connects the lips. The chisel edge does not cut. It penetrates, displacing the workpiece material and consumes 60 to 70% of the thrust. This phase is called the heel. Now, there are a lot of angles involved that ultimately defines the geometry of the drill point. If we look from the side, this is the point angle. The point angle is generally 118 degrees. Higher point angles are used to drill harder and tougher materials. Now, looking from a side, this angle measured between the margin end and horizontal plane is called lip clearance angle. Lip clearance angle or lip relief is decided based on the drill diameter and hardness of the material. Insufficient lip clearance will cause rubbing and heat generation, while excessive lip clearance angle can cause breaking of the drill corners. It ranges from 24 degrees for soft materials to 8 degrees for hard materials for various diameters. The chisel edge angle is the angle between the chisel edge and the cutting lips. It is an indication of the lip clearance. So these were the main features of a drill bit. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, this is about that drill bits. I hope maybe you can understand now by using this graphics. So what is a drill bit? So main parts is shown. So whatever I explained to you. So main important part of any drilling is drill bit, right? So that is main cutting tool. So now coming to we're going for next the supporting tools which is required. So most important thing for any machines, we need to have the two different kind of supporting equipments. So one is the tool holders and other is the drill workpiece holders. So here also first we can see about tool holding devices. So drill press spindle provide means of holding and driving the cutting tool. So what this tool holding device is? So actually it is hold the drill bit. So what is the drill bit just you seen, and you need to transfer the power, means whatever the rotational motions, whatever things are there, that is provided to the cutting tool. So that cutting tool can remove it and it can apply force onto the workpiece. So end may be tapered or threaded for mounting the drill checks. So normally what in which we are inserting this, it's maybe threaded or maybe tapered. So threaded means directly you can by rotating the threading, so directly mount the cutting tool into that one. In the whatever the drill bit is there, if it is the threaded drill bit at the end, you can directly by screwing and by screwing, maybe you can fix that cutting tool into the machine. If not, maybe it used to have some kind of shank, some kind of tapered shank may be there. So whether it is screwed or maybe tapered, so that it is properly gripping in the machine. So most common drill checks, whatever we are using, so whatever the work with this tool holding devices, so normally we used to use the drill checks. So what are the similar to the whatever we have seen in our lathe drill checks, but here because drill bits are small and long, so normally this used to have the smaller checks and longer in size, and drill sieves and as well as drill sockets also we used to use. So now we can see what is drill check. So this is the typical drill check. So normally most popularly we use, maybe in that video also maybe you've seen, when you inserting the drill, so maybe you have this kind of this kind of arrangement is there. So this kind of things are there, right? So these things. So this is whatever you've seen. So this is a typical check. So this is in this again you having a shank. So taper shank. This is mounted in the spindle. So spindle is rotates, and this is the stang portion. So actually this is giving some proper holding in the spindle. So this is stang and this is the shank. Shank normally used to tapered. So this is inserted in the spindle, and this portion is called as the check. So in this check, maybe you having a two different kinds of checks are there. So one is a keyhole. With keyhole, it can open this jar, and one is without key without any kind of rotation, only by pressing, by applying some force, these jars are opening. So most common devices used for the holding the straight shank cutter is the checks. So most containing three jars. So like whatever we have seen in our checks. So mostly because three jars are the universal checks, and it is very easy to hold the workpieces, workpiece as well as the tools. Because here in drilling, so we used to have the tools, so it's easy to hold the tools. So especially for circular cross section, or especially symmetrical cross sections, very easy to hold using these three jars, are nothing but self-center checks, whatever you have seen in the lathe. So this is hold, normally these checks are used to hold the straight shank, or maybe cutting taper shanks also we can, is it properly holding in this. Straight shanks of cutting tool is securely it is holding in this. There is a two common types of checks are there. One is key and one is keyless. So key is nothing but this is in this, if you say, so this is a typical check, three jar checks. In that maybe we are providing some kind of holes are there. So some kind of provision here actually. So this kind of keys, if you insert on this, if you rotate, so whatever the jars are there, so these jars are moving up outside or maybe inside. If you want to remove the tool, so you need to rotate in one direction, so that this will be go in other direction, and it will having a more space, and you can insert the cutting tool. Once you insert the cutting tool, it has to rotate in the other direction, so that this whatever the jars are there, so these jars are coming close and hold the workpiece firmly. So key type checks are very commonly using in the drilling machine. So three jars move simultaneously when outer sleeves turn. So this is whatever when you are turning this one. So this is maybe inside there is this sleeve mechanism is there. So it's rotating a sleeve plate. So this sleeve plate is connected to the three jars. So three jars are moving forward direction or backward direction. There's very simple mechanisms are there. So next is coming to be keyless. So keyless normally check loosen or tighten by the hand without key. So in this kind of things, if you say there is no keys are required, only by small application of forces, small application of pressure. So just you need to insert the workpiece. You inserting the drill bit or nothing but the cutting tool you inserting. So this is normally what happened. Normally this kind of checks are using only for taper drill bits, not for straight drill bits. So straight drill bits normally we are using this kind of things. So these checks is normally using for anything, whether straight or taper or anything. But these kind of checks normally using for tapered drill bits. So this is just simply by applying the hand force or maybe some small hammering, maybe you can inserting the workpiece, inserting the tool into this kind of checks. So precision keyless, so hold smaller drills accurately. So precision keyless also is available. So this very small size of drills if you want to have. So in that we're using the precision. In that normally used to have this kind of collars are there. So when you're screwing and unscrewing of these collars, so these is moving forward and backward. So key is not required for this, but very small size. So because of small size, by using this the sleeves, there is some kind of sleeves are available. So by rotating the sleeve in one direction and another direction, so this opening can be possible. Once it's opened, the opening is bigger. Maybe you can insert the cutting tool, and once it is inserting, maybe you can rotate in other direction so that it will close and it will hold the tool properly. So then coming to be work holding devices. So different types of work holding devices are there. So in that here maybe you can see a few of the work holding devices. So in last class we have seen when we're seeing the different kinds of drill machines or working principle of drill machines. So in that maybe you've seen that work table. So in that work table maybe you've seen some kind of grooves or some kind of provisions are provided, right? To keep, because these tables are normally little bulky, it is little heavy. So on that stool maybe you can keep your workpiece, and whatever the slots or whatever the provisions is given. So on that provisions you need to insert these tools, and you need in this you used to have the bolts as well as the nuts. You can tighten the bolts so that you can hold the workpiece properly. So in this few of the important work holding devices are, so T-bolt. So T-bolt normally you've seen in the table. So maybe you have some kind of So in table, maybe you've seen this kind of arrangement will be there. So this kind of T slots are there, right? So if I want to draw it here, so typical this kind of slots are available in work table, right? So in these kind of slots, maybe for example, just there is see that the two slots are there. So these kind of things, this is nothing but T slot. So those T slots maybe you can insert it here. So maybe you can insert, this is a typical T slot. You can insert, right? So insert here, and above here you have some kind of threading is there in this. So here there is some kind of so here maybe you have some kind of threadings are there. So in this threading, you can tighten the bolt. You can keep the workpiece here. So you can keep the workpiece and you can bolt and tighten the bolts so that it is firmly gripped. So here one T bolt, and similarly here also you can keep one T bolt, right? So depending upon the size, depending upon the things, maybe you can keep your T bolts here. Maybe not only 2 grooves, you have a multiple grooves also maybe there. So like that you can use these T bolts. Similarly, C clamps. So C clamps are using to hold these workpieces with. So on this, whatever the things are there, this is holding between the workpiece and pins. Your mountain this one. And similarly, so this is T nuts. Instead of T bolts, maybe you have T nuts also. So instead of bolts directly, whatever the things you have, you can put in this, and in this maybe you have this holes. This kind of holes are there. So in this maybe you can bolt it. Some bolts maybe you can screw on this. So these bolts maybe go into this one, and this is holding whatever the workpiece above this, that will hold. Similarly, double finger clamps. So this is the typical clamps are there. These clamps also can be used, and also you can use the studs. So studs normally having threading on the both sides. So one side maybe you can insert into this kind of holes. If it is a workpiece is very bigger, so what happened, you can use along with the T nuts, maybe you can use some studs also. So studs, maybe you can run the fix the stud here in one side, and other side maybe you can bolt it. So in between maybe you can keep some workpiece here, and this side maybe you having a one bolt, right? So you can bolt one bolt, maybe this kind of bolt, and here maybe you can have some other kind of bolt maybe fixed. This is maybe for using for horizontal as well as vertical. So this is a typical vertical. So if this is in vertical, you can make this into a 90 degrees, right? And you can do it. And similarly, finger clamps. So finger clamps also using to fix these studs into that one. And similarly for strap clamp. So strap clamp, maybe you can see some kind of provisions are there. You can tighten the you screw on this, and this can be holded onto the workpiece. So workpiece maybe you can tighten, and on this, if you tighten this one, so this is firmly placed on this, and these things are holding the workpiece under it, right? Similarly for choose neck clamp. So choose neck clamp, normally bolting has to be done from this, and here maybe you can keep some workpieces. What the workpiece is there, you can keep it. When you tighten the bolt finally, so this things is holding the workpiece very finely, right? And similarly, some circular object or some spherical object, if it is there, maybe universal clamps also we are using. I mean, even sometimes we used to have the step blocks. So on the table, so maybe if you want to have the circular object or maybe some different shapes are there. So each side maybe you can keep this step block, and this step block is mounted fixed on this. So if, for example, here step block is coming this side and this side, and in between maybe you can finally hold the workpiece properly, right? So this is a workpiece and holding using this maybe. So using whatever the provision from this, you're fixing the bolts, and this is finally holding this step blocks. So similarly, your adjustable strap. So here is a strap clamp, and this is an adjustable strap. So adjustable strap, maybe they can adjust it. So as per the dimensions, as per the complexity, or as per the difficulty of workpiece, you can using this, you can hold the workpiece. So all this, whatever you're seeing in this, is nothing but your work holding devices. So these are all work holding devices. So workpiece is mounted on the table, or maybe on base. Base also, if it is a very heavy workpiece, like radial drilling machines, maybe you're mounted directly, workpiece is mounted on the base instead of table. It's mounted on the base, and base also have some kind of provisions are provided. So in that provisions, maybe you can insert these kind of tools, and you can fix the workpiece. And also, so few more work holding devices, even vices also can be used. So directly on, I think last class I told you. So directly on the work table, so directly you can clamp these vices. This is typical vise whichever you use in your workshop, right? Workshop, especially in carpentry. So carpentry, how you are done? So in carpentry, whatever the wood workpiece is that you are inserted in this, and by rotating this, whatever you having a two, this also is called as a jaw, right? A jar, nothing but a plate, you can say, mobile plate. So this is one is mobile by rotating this this whatever the bolt, by rotating in one direction. So this will move in this direction. So when in this direction it is moving, so you having a very good big space is there. You insert your workpiece, and again you need to you need to tighten it. So you need to move in other direction so that this whatever the jaw is there, it's coming forward and holding the workpiece. This is the simple vices are there. So in that vices again, the standard vise which is fixed on directly on the table and there is no motion, and also there is a swelled vices also is available. So in that what happens, this vices maybe you can rotate about a particular angle. So this direction maybe you can rotate it, whatever the inclination is required, so that much inclination maybe you can maintain on this. So this is called as the swivel vise, and this is the standard. So whatever in your carpentry you use, this is standard machine table vise you use. So these vices directly placed on the drill table or maybe drill base and normally using. So normally for smaller workpiece or maybe medium workpieces, maybe you used to make a holes in maybe 10 mm by 100 mm length workpiece or maybe 100 mm by 100 mm. So in that size, maybe we are using this kind of vices. If the workpiece is beyond that dimensions, it's more than, if it is more than 500 mm size, then it's difficult to maintain fixed on vise. So instead of vise, directly on the table or on the base. So using that, whatever the previously work holding devices is there, directly we can clamping the workpiece on the table using these kind of devices. So most popular thing, so especially in your workpiece workshops, so normally engineering workshops, because in engineering workshops you're not using very high as well as not very low, so medium size of object normally used machine. So on that, this vise also very popularly using as a work holding device. So these are the few work holding devices are there. So now we can move for the different processes. So using these work holding devices, we are holding the workpiece. Using tool holding devices, we are holding the tool. So different kind of processes can possible to perform on drilling machine. So by using these different processes, you need to make the different types of features you are creating in the workpiece. Now we can see about different operations or different processes which can performed on drilling. We can see now. So what are the different processes are there? So one process, whatever is happened in the drilling, is called as in drilling machine is called as a drilling, right? So drilling machine is used for the drilling the hole. What do you mean by drilling? Is nothing but making a holes. So by using a revolving or rotating cutting tool, so removing the material and making a internal holes is called as a drilling. So that anyhow, last whatever the slides are there, previously 1.5 class we are seeing the drilling only. So what a drilling is nothing but making an internal holes in the workpiece is called as a drilling. So in addition to drilling, there is a lot of other operations also can be possible to perform on this drilling machine. Those operations are reaming, boring, counter boring, countersinking, spot facing, and tapping. So now we can see one by one. So what is these operations? So what is mean by reaming? So drilling anyhow you know. So I'm not going to discuss about drilling. So these are the operations. So maybe you can see all the operations are in the single slide it is there. So drilling. So this is a typical drilling process. So in drilling is nothing but making a hole. So this is whatever the hatching portion. So this hatching portion is the workpiece. So in that workpiece we are making this kind of this size of hole we are making. So this making using a cutting tool. So this is a typical cutting tool. So this is nothing but cutting tool is nothing but your drill. So this workpiece is mounted on a workpiece on the machine on a work table, and using this drill bit this cutting tool, you're making a hole. So making a hole in a workpiece is called as a drilling. So making internal holes. Holes is nothing but internal only, right? So in making an internal holes or making a holes in a workpiece is called as a drilling. So whatever we have seen from last 1.5 class is nothing but drilling. Then in addition to drilling, there is other processes also there. So one of the important process which is performed on the machine and which is important in any workpiece is called as a reaming. So what is reaming? Reaming is similar to the drilling, but only thing in reaming, already there is an existing hole is available. So if you see here, so here there is no hole. You are making a fresh hole. So it's called as a drilling. But here there is already a hole is there. So reaming means it's nothing but finishing the hole. So maybe in hole, maybe you having some chips are there, some kind of connective things are there. So those things are removing that and making a smooth surface of the hole is called as a reaming. So remember, reaming is nothing but finishing of the holes. And then next operation is boring. So what we used to call as a boring. So here what happened, already existing surface, you are smoothening. So there maybe you are having some kind of cutting chips are there, or some uneven surfaces are there, some rough surfaces are there. The rough surface you are making it to the very smooth by using a tool called as a reamer. So this tool is called as a reamer tool. So reaming operation, so reaming tool. Similarly, here what we are doing, so initially already there is a one hole is there. So if you say, so already one hole is there, but this hole having some X diameter, right? Some X diameter, maybe something about 10 mm hole is there. Now you what you want to enlarge the hole. So instead of 10 mm, your requirement is there, 12 mm hole is required for you. So for that, so 10 mm hole already you are made. So that made 10 mm hole you are enlarging. So enlarging the hole is called as a boring. So always remember, boring means enlarging the hole. You see here it is enlarged. So here, even though if you're seeing there is a small, bigger size of reamer is there, but here purpose of the hole is not to enlarge, only to finish. But here in boring is the purpose of the operation is to enlarge this the hole. So what are the already existing hole is there, so you need to enlarge the hole. So this also very important. Drilling also important operation. So boring also very important operation, because why boring is important? So normally when we making a hole of very big in sizes, so big sizes holes we are not making at a time. For example, if we want to make a 50 hole, we need to make in a workpiece. So 50 hole, maybe it's not possible to make in the using your portable drilling machine, or maybe a sensitive drilling machine. If you're having a sensitive drilling machine, if you want to make a 50 hole in single operation, 50 hole is not possible, because that much big size of drill bit is not possible to make in the sensitive drilling machine. We have seen sensitive drilling machine maximum we can make a hole of 15 So in that case, using the sensitive drilling machine, if you want to make a bigger size holes, what we need to do? Initially, we need to make the standard size of the hole, 15 or whatever the possible you need to make. And later, what we need to do? You need to enlarge the hole. So enlarging the hole is called as a boring. So these boring machines, maybe we can discuss in the next class. So today we can see the boring, these operations, boring, and then one more operation called as a counter boring. So this enlarging the hole is entire length is called as a boring. So complete, for example, this is your 100 depth. So all 100 depth you are enlarging the hole. 10 hole you are making to the 12 is called as a boring. But in some applications, what we need to have, we not need to make entire length. We need to make only some small portion of the hole only has to enlarge. For example, this is 100 So in that only 20 hole has to enlarge, and remaining 80 hole is as it is in same size. So this kind of enlarging the hole up to only some extent is called as the counter boring. So counter boring, remember, boring is enlarging the hole. Counter means only up to some length, some distance, or nothing at some depth we are enlarging the hole, not entire length. Similarly, counter sinking. So in counter sinking, so normally in counter boring, we are enlarging the hole into the circular shape. But in counter sinking, we are not enlarging the hole in cylindrical shape. Instead of that, we are making a tapered hole. That is called as a counter sinking. And then spot facing is nothing but you are clearing, or whatever the if it is the under surface of the circular surface or inside of the hole is considering as a reaming. Finishing of the hole in inside is called as a reaming. Similarly, finishing the hole on the above surface, or nothing but on the surface of above the hole. This is the hole. So above this, whatever the finishing you are doing, that you used to call it as a spot facing. And similarly, taping is nothing but making an internal threads. So we already have a hole. We made a hole by this, but after making a hole, we need to have internal threads also required. So the making an internal threads is calling it as a tapping. So now my next slide where we can see one by one. So this is the reaming. So reaming, so it is a process of smoothening, or nothing but finishing the internal surfaces of the drilled hole with a tool. So already hole is drilled. So if you see in this, so already you have a hole. So you have this size of the hole is there. Now what happened? So just we are doing the finishing, or nothing but smoothening of the hole. So smoothening of the hole is called as the reaming. So in this, whatever the tool is called as a reamer. So reaming tool normally we used to call it as the reamer. So this is the reamer. And initially the hole is drilled slightly smaller in size. So very slightly smaller, not very big difference. So not very big difference will be there between the reamer and drill. So that's why normally this is not enlarging the hole, which only has to have finishing the hole. So for finishing the hole, what we need to do, a small fraction of the material we are removing from the surface. Maybe that is a few micron, or maybe less than 1 mm, maybe some 0.5 mm, or maybe 2.25 mm, maybe thickness of the material, or maybe 100 microns, or maybe 15 microns material is removing. Very small amount of material is removing, and this main intention of reaming is to finish the hole, to make a smooth surface. So here the same thing, this whatever the drilling is operation is there. So this is also performing on the same drilling machine only. machine, but only we used to replace this with a drill, with a reamer tool. Initially we have done drilling, so after that drilling you need to remove the drill bit and then you insert the reamer and then you need to do the performance. The same thing. So this operation can perform on the drilling machine only. So speed reduced to half of that of the drilling. So normally drilling, because drilling is a bulk material removal, because what we're doing, the 10 mm hole we are making initially. Just assume, so you want to make a hole. So initially what we have done, we are making a 10 mm hole, we have made it initially. So means bulk removal of material, and there is a rough surfaces are there. So normally drilling operation is performing at higher speed. But when coming to be reaming, so reaming normally we used to remove the only small amount of material you need to remove, and also you need to have the smooth surface. So that's why normally this process is performed at lower speed, not very high speed. So normally at half of the drilling speed, we are performing the reaming operations. So coming to be boring. So I told you boring is one of the important process. So after drilling, most important operation is boring. So this process is carried out on the drilling machine itself to increase the size of the hole. So here we are increasing the size. In reaming, normally we are finishing the hole. Small, very small amount of increasing of hole maybe happened, but now it's not very much increase in size. But here boring itself, boring means itself increasing the size of the hole. Initially 10 mm hole is there. The 10 mm hole we make in the 12 mm or 15 mm or maybe some even still higher size of the hole we can make. So initial hole is drilled to the nearest size of using a boring tool to the size of the hole is increased. So what happened initially, drilling is done by drill bit, and then whatever the size is there, so that boring, using boring tool, you increasing the size of the hole. So you remember, so when we discuss about last class about a different drilling machine, so every drilling machine having some capacity. So your drilling machine is specified by the hole, maximum hole it can be drilled, right? But sometimes we used to have a very big holes has to be made in the workpiece. So in that case, we with drilling machine only with the drill bit we cannot make. So in that case, what we used to have, so we used to use this kind of boring tools we used to use. So what is their boring tool? So normally boring tool is similar to the drilling tool, but most of the boring tools used to like this. So used to have a circular body. So in that circular body, you have a sharp cutting tool is fixing on the circular body. So this is like this. So in drilling bit, whatever the size of the drill is there, so diameter of the drill is same as the diameter of the hole. But here it's not required a circular tool. Even it having a circular object on that, maybe you can mount, you can fix one kind of rotating cutting tool, like single point cutting tool, whatever we have seen in the lathe. Similar kind of single point cutting tool, if you mount it here, so in this and this, whatever the cutting tool is there, so this cutting tool itself can remove the material, right? So here not required a entire like drill bit, whatever the drill bit you've seen like that is not required. Even a single cutting tool is there, so that can, by rotating this continuously, it is removing the material. So this, it is similar to your taping, your lathe operation. So what I done in lathe operation, so workpiece is rotating there and tool is stationary. So we used to have a single point cutting tool. So this, using the single point cutting tool, by giving feed and depth of cut, we are removing the material from the surface. So along with the length as well as going in depth into the workpiece. So same kind of operation is performing. Only thing is different in the boring is here workpiece is rotating, your workpiece is stationary, tool is rotating. So this is stationary and this is rotating. In lathe, so this is rotating and this is stationary. That's only difference. So single point cutting tool, so it's cutting the internal features. So here, so you're making an hollow features you're making. In lathe, you're making a solid. Here you are making a hollow. So that's only difference. And further details about boring machine, maybe we can discuss in the next class. So next further operation is counter boring. So as I told you, counter boring means you're enlarging the hole up to some extent only, not up to the entire cross section. So the process of involving increasing the size of the hole at only one end. So only at one end up to some depth only. It's not full depth, only a small depth only we are enlarging the hole. That is called as a counter boring. So cutting tool which will have a small cylindrical portion is called as a pilot. So whatever the thing this is there, so this is called as a pilot. So this already made this hole. So this is called as a pilot, and this used to called as whatever the bigger size of the diameter of cutter is there. So this is called as your boring tool. So boring tool sometimes is there, but normally whatever the counter boring we are using, so most of the tools is like this. So this is whatever the pilot is there, this is going and setting in the tool, what is the existing tool, and this portion of the material is removing the material. So this whatever the cutting to edges are there, so these cutting edges are removing the material from this portion. So if you see here, so initially you have a material in this, right? So this material you cut using this cutting tool, and this pilot is only simply it is going into the hole. This pilot is not doing any cutting operation. So this pilot is giving only to support. So if it is going and fixing in this, you are getting more support, and this portion of the this portion, whatever is there, this is removing the material. So cutting tool will have a small cylindrical portion is called as a pilot. So this is small cylindrical portion, but it is required sometimes and it's not required. Only for if you want to have the very strong, very hard material, then only it is required. But normal material, this kind of pilot is not required. So cutting speed here is 2/3 of the drilling speeds. Normally because you're enlarging the hole, so speed is going to be less. So in previously reamer, you're going to half of the speed. Now this is little more than reaming speed, but less than drilling speed. So something about 2/3, 2/3. So 2/3 times of drilling speed. Using that speed, we used to cut the material in counter boring. So then it's coming to be counter sinking. So counter sinking is nothing but I told you it's not taper. Previously, if you say here, it's here you are making some kind of step, right? But here you're not making it. Yes. Just tell me. Any question? Any question, please ask me if you're having any doubt. Otherwise, we'll move for counter boring. Sorry, counter sinking.
No, sir, no, nothing. Sir.
Okay,
By mistake.
Okay, okay. So counter sinking means previously we having a So previously in counter boring we used to have a step kind of thing, but in sometimes we step is not required, right? Instead of step, we need to have some kind of a tapered surface is required, so that maybe you can have the set screws. Those kind of things has to insert into the workpiece. So in that case, this kind of surface is required. So this kind of surface is cutting is called as a counter sinking. So both are counter boring. So making a small depth of hole, enlarging the hole up to small distance, counter boring, and tapering the hole at one end is called as a counter sinking. So please remember this counter sinking. Counter, if word is coming during drilling operation, if counter work is word is coming means, so we used to drill the hole in particular shape only up to small depth, not very big, higher depth. So this is operation of making the end of the hole into a conical shape. So this kind of shape we are providing, some kind of conical shape or some kind of slant surface we are making one end of the hole. So cutting speed here, the cutting speed is going to be half of the cutting speed of the drilling machine. So this is similar to the reaming process, because that's whatever the excess material is there. So previously this material is there. So this material we are removed. So whatever the hatched portion, red hatched portion, whatever the hatching I have done, so this hatched portion we are removing. So normally what happened, this is similar to your farming operations. So farm tool. So whatever the farm tool is similar to the farm tool it is. So whatever the inclined cutting edge is there, so similar to the inclined cutting edge, you are removing the material. So that's only simple. It's very simple operation. So it's not very difficult operation. Just it's similar to the in drill. Maybe you having a flat in counter boring. Maybe you having a flat, but here maybe you having some kind of taper drill. So this you can call it as a taper drill, or also called as a counter sinking tool. So counter sinking tool or maybe taper tool. So using this, if you take this tool, if it is advancing in this, what happened? So this is moving forward because already hole is there here. So it may not have any removal of material. So whatever the material removing, it's coming in contact with this cutting tool. So that material is removing. So this process of making this kind of object, this kind of end is called as a counter sinking. So this is a typical counter sinking. After removing this material, you're going to get this kind of thing. So this process is called as a counter sinking. So going for one more process called as spot facing. So spot facing, I told you, is similar to the reaming process. In reaming, normally we are finishing this this portion. So here in spot facing, you're the face of the hole. So this is the face of the hole, right? So this whatever the surface is there, surface above which on which the you hole make the hole. So finishing of this surface is called as a spot facing. So it's nothing but spot, nothing but location at which you made the hole. So finishing that location is called as a spot facing. So it is a finishing operation to produce the flat round surfaces usually around the drilled hole. So whatever the drilled hole is there, so around this, just you are finishing your workpiece or nothing but surface of the workpiece. The proper seating of the bolt head or nut. So why is required this proper finishing? So whatever the bolt you are inserting in this, the bolt has to fit properly. If it is a smooth surface, if it is a parallel surface, then only your other whatever the bolt is coming here, that is coming and sitting. If there is some kind of uneven surfaces are there or some kind of roughness is there, so your bolt may not fit properly. Bolt or nut, whatever you are you're tightening here, it's not fitting properly. To that, you need to have this spot facing, right? So even sometimes spot facing is like this also. Maybe here, maybe you having some special kind of surface is there, but because to bolt has to be sit in this, or maybe to nut has to sit in this. So like this, if you want to sit, what you need to do, you need to create a surface, a parallel or horizontal surface you are making. So this process is also called as a spot facing, because at this particular surface of the hole, we are making a flat surface so that your bolt or nut has to be sit properly in this. So this also called as a spot facing, or maybe your flat surface also you're making smoothening this surface is also called as a smart facing. So then coming to be tapping. So tapping is nothing but it's a process of making threads. So process of cutting internal threads with a thread tool called as a tap. So this is a typical thread tool. So this used to called as a tap. So using this, maybe you can see it here. So you have to have a sharp edges. In between you have a grooves. So by using this, by rotating this, like similar to the drill bit, if you're rotating this material and moving forward this tapping tool into this hole. So what happened? Already there is a hole is existing. So in this hole, whatever the grooves are there, so in this groove you are removing the material, and you are creating whatever the material projections are there. So when these projections are rotating, so you're removing the material only that particular grooves, and remaining material, whatever the edges you are seeing here, so the edges are like this. So we are not removing the material in this. So whatever the edges you are seeing, so these edges are like this only. We are not removing the material. We are removing material only these grooves. So in previously drilling, what happened? We are removing the material, entire material we are removing. But in tapping, we are not removing the entire material. Only we are making some kind of grooves in this. So threading is nothing but it's a spiral groove, right? A spiral groove we are making inside the drilled hole. So that is called as the internal threads. So making a internal threads is calling as a tapping. So this is the typical tapping tool. So tapping tool is similar to the drilling tool. So here also you having a same shaft, the tang, and this portion, whatever the flute portion is there in your drill bit, instead of flute portion, you having a spiral grooves are there. So this spiral groove used to remove the material in the spiral form. So spiral groove is nothing but your thread. So internal threads we are making. So tap is a fluted threaded tool. So in this, whatever the flutes are there, flutes are nothing but gaps. So these flutes are in the form of a spiral. So tool used for cutting the internal threads. So here, normally in tapping, cutting speed is still lower. So our, if you see in our counter boring as well as our boring, so speed of the cutting tool, speed of the drill is half. So in tapping, still the speed of the cutting tool is still lesser. Why? Because you are making a thread which is having very small cross section of the material you're keeping, and very small cross section of the material is removing. If you're going very fast, what happened? These whatever the projections are there, so these projections may damage. That's why normally tapping we used to perform at very slow speed. So these are the few operations is performed on drilling machine. So in addition to drilling, you have a reaming, boring, counter sinking, and then tapping. So these are the 5. In addition to drilling, these are the 5 operations which can perform on the drilling machine. If anybody asking you in exams, what are the different kind of operations can be performed on the drilling machine? So you need to write all these 6, including drilling. Right. So now we can see some kind of problematic, some kind of physical parameters we need to measure. So especially most important thing is feed, depth of cut, as well as cutting speed. So cutting speed, feed, depth of cut is very important in any cutting operations, any machining operation. So here cutting speed. So how to calculate cutting speed normally? So cutting speed we can calculate simple by using a simple formula. So V, velocity of V is nothing but cutting speed. So velocity of any cutting tool is nothing but your cutting edge. So whatever the drill bit is there. So you having a drill bit. So at which these cutting surfaces are revolving. So at this particular thing, so at which speed it is rotating. So for that, this simple formula, right? So pi d is nothing but circumference, and n is nothing but number of revolutions in 1 minute or 1 second. So velocity we can calculate it by pi d n. So if pi d n, this n, if it giving revolutions per minute, then you are going to calculate this per minute. So whatever the speed is there per minute, and diameter if you calculating in a meter, so then your velocity is coming meters per minute. So this is in meters and this is per minutes. Then your this velocity is coming meters per minute. If for example this you are calculating in mm, so then your speed is coming mm per minute. And this is mm, and this if you are calculating you are substituting in seconds, then your speed is coming mm per second. So normally standard procedure is, so this is in meters, right? And this is in seconds. Even if this is minutes, then you need to divide with 60. Then you are going to calculate velocity in terms of meters per second. So here the whatever the n is there, so n maybe assume it is giving in terms of revolutions per second. So pi d n, so it's giving you the meters per second. So in this diameter, so diameter in meters, and n speed rotational in rpm, so revolutions per minute. So in this whatever the velocity is there, it is coming meters per minute. So in this, because in this whatever is there, diameter is giving in meters and the speed is given in rpm, revolutions per minute. So your velocity is coming meters per minute. And similarly feed rate. So feed rate, it is nothing but moment of drill bit. So in this direction, at how much rate this your drill bit is advancing into the workpiece is considering as feed, because finally this only dividing your depth of your material. So this is considering as your feed of the drill bit. So this is the second parameter. So the feed normally we calculated revolutions per minute, as well as you can calculate per unit time also. So in one revolution, so in one your drill bit is rotating about 360 about its axis. So how much distance it is going into the workpiece, that is giving you the feed rate in revolutions per minute. And similarly depth of cut. So third important parameter in any cutting tool is the depth of cut. So here depth of cut is nothing but how much material is removing. So here how much material you're removing. So initially you having a workpiece, right? So in that workpiece, once your drill bit is penetrating into this one, so how much material is we are removing? We are removing the material equivalent to your diameter of the workpiece, right? So this much material you're removing. Initially you don't have any hole. Now you're removing material about this this size. So radius. So nothing but this is nothing but diameter small d, or nothing but it's the radius. So radius of the workpiece. So radius of the drill is equal to your depth of cut. So r equal to d by 2. So whatever the depth of cut is there in drilling, so it is nothing but d by 2, half of the diameter of your drill bit, whatever your drill bit using, or nothing but radius of your drill bit. So then one more important parameter in any machining is material removal rate. So material removal rate is nothing but how much volume of material removing from the workpiece in unit time. If that is per unit in 1 minute. So that is, we need to multiply all these three parameters. So pi d square by 4 is nothing but area into f is nothing but your feed, into n. So n is nothing but how many number of revolutions the workpiece is making in unit time, or nothing but in minute. So pi d square by 4, this is nothing but your cross sectional of the drill, and then f is nothing but feed. So how much is nothing but depth. So how much depth material is the cutting tool is going in unit time, that is called feed, into n. N is nothing but number of revolution. So pi d square by 4 into f into n will give you in material removal rate mm³ per minute, because here diameter we substitute in terms of mm. If it is substituted in terms of meters and feed is giving meters per minute, then your whatever the values are coming is meter³ per minute it will come. So your this volume, whatever the units are there, units of the final parameter. So depending upon whatever the units you are providing input parameters. If it is this meter and this is meters per minute and this is number of revolutions per minute, then this will come mm³ per minute. And nothing but this you can give it as revolutions per, because this is coming n. So this is revolutions, this is mm per revolution. So this is mm per revolution, and this is revolutions per second. Then this is coming as meter³ per minute. And also important parameter to calculate is machining time. So machining time is very simple to calculate. The total length of the hole. So length of the hole divided by feed and number of revolution in unit time. So this is, so time. So machining time can calculate it using length of the workpiece. For example, you need to make a hole so up to this length, right? So this is L. So this is L. So L divided by F by N, feed. So here F, small f is given. So small f is nothing but your feed per revolution. So feed per revolution, f into number of revolution in unit time, or nothing but in meter. So that will give you your time in minutes. So this is the length, feed into revolutions per minute will give you the cutting time or machining time in minutes, because the parameter whatever you're inserting is in terms of minutes only. So these parameters, maybe these are the 5 parameters we can see it in one of the problems, so that it can understand for you better. So anybody want to note down, please note down this, then I will maybe move for next slide. And we can discuss one problem. Because note down, otherwise at least you can take a screenshot of this. I'm giving you just 1 minute, please. If possible, you can take a screenshot. Our time is also coming to end. Its last 10 minutes are there, less than 10 minutes. So maybe this is one question. This kind of questions may ask you in your exam. A hole is being drilled in a block with a 10 mm drill at a feed rate. So given feed rate at 0.2 mm per revolution. So normally feed rate is giving mm per revolution or mm per time also they can give, but here is giving mm per revolution. The spindle running at 800 rpm. So n is also given here. So calculate material removal rate. So what is the given data? So diameter is given. So diameter of the drill is 10 mm and feed is given 0.2 mm per revolution and n is given 800. So material removal rate, just know your seat. So formula for material removal rate is very simple. So area of the drill, so pi d square by 4 into f into n. So just know whatever you are saying the formula. Just substitute these values in this formula, right? So you're going to get MR material removal rate is coming as pi into d is nothing but 10 square by 4 into 0.2 mm into 800 revolutions per minute it is come, sir, rpm, revolutions per minute. So you're going to get 12,556 mm cube. So your 10 is mm only and as well as 0.2 also in mm only. So you're coming as 12,556 mm cube per minute. So this kind of questions may ask you in the 2 marks. So in the very simple questions, direct formula is there. So on that formula, maybe you can substitute. And also this kind of questions may ask you in your GATE exam also. So please take a screenshot of this, then maybe we can move for the next. One more problem I will take, then after that I will stop the class for today. So please take this one. So if you want to note down. Otherwise you can take a screenshot. So later on you can copy in your class notes. Okay, I'm going for next slide now. So one more problem we can take it. So this is actually previous year's question paper. So calculate the time required to drill a 25 mm hole in a workpiece with a thickness of 60 mm to complete the depth. So complete depth of depth we need to make a hole. Means complete workpiece depth is 60 mm. So your drill hole also is completely through a hole you need to make it. So its length is coming as 60 mm. The cutting speed is 14 meters per minute. So cutting speed is given. So it's not mm, it's a minute, min. So it's a typing mistake. And feed rate is given as 0.3 mm per revolution. So there is one more thing is given in the question. So assume length of the approach and over travel is 5 mm. So normally what happened, so maybe when we discuss about last class when we discuss about drilling process, what we used to do, so when we put a workpiece, when we're fixing on the table, so we are not starting drilling exactly by keeping the drill bit at the workpiece, right? We are not doing this. What we're doing instead of that, we are keeping the workpiece little away. So right, so in little away to your cutting tool. So maybe you're keeping somewhere about this, at this particular point you're keeping, and then you are starting this drill bit, right? And then by manually whatever the things are available here, maybe whatever the things are there, by rotating this, you're moving this drill bit to the down. So this, whatever the distance it is away, so that distance is coming as a length of approach. So length of approach means from here to here, so whatever the distance is traveling, it's called as the length of approach. So when you're calculating the total depth, so total depth, maybe you having a through hole you're making. So in this workpiece, you're making a through hole of 60 mm, and then you having a true approach. Approach is given as 5 mm. So this 5 mm plus your 60 mm. So total length when you need to consider 60 plus 5, 65 mm. So if nothing is mentioned, you consider the length of approach is 0. If something is given in your question, so you need to take that as a length of approach. So now we can solve this question like our standard normal methods. First you take the input data. So given data what is given? So diameter of the hole. So required diameter of the hole is given 25 mm. Feed is given 0.3 mm per revolution. Velocity is given 14 mm. And total length is given. So length of the workpiece is given as 60 mm, right? So and also given as approach as well as assume length of approach and over travel. So it's given together is giving as 5 mm, right? So this total length of operation is coming as workpiece length plus approach as well as over travel. So that is coming to be a 65 mm. Now, what is the question is asking? So calculate the time, right? They're asking about calculate the time. The formula of time is very simple. Length of the hole are nothing but length of the cutting tool it is traveled divided by feed into number of revolution per minute. Then going to calculate the time in minutes. So this is the simple formula. Using this formula, you need to find. So in this we having L. So L is nothing but Lj plus these two. So this 65. Feed is there 0.3, but N is not given, right? So we need to find N using the data. Whatever the data is given, we need to find N. So how to find N? So we given velocity. Cutting velocity is given. So cutting velocity already you know pi d n by 1000 because it's given in meters. So 14 mm meters are given. So n by 1000, if you take the diameter by 1000, so then you can calculate. V is given as meters per minute. So convert this 25 mm, whatever the diameter is given by mm. So this mm has to convert into meter, or this meter has to convert into mm. So what we are doing, so 14 meters per minute it is there. So that is equal to pi dn, right? So d is given 25 mm. So converting into the meters, 25 divided by 1000 we are taking. Then if you substitute this, v equal to pi into 25 n divided by 1000, v equal to 14 if you there. If you calculate from this, n value is coming as 178 rpm, revolutions per minute, because your velocity, whatever the 414 meters, it's per minute. That's why you are going to get 175 rpm. Then the same thing now you can substitute in this formula. So whatever the formula you have, so t equal to L into Fn. So in this formula, if you substitute it, so L by Fn, you're going to get your time. So L is nothing but your 65, 60 plus 5, 65, and feed is given as 0.3 mm, and your N is nothing but your revolutions is given 178 rpm. If you substitute in this, so you are going to get whatever the t value is coming as 1.22, because this is the revolutions per minute, and this is in meters, and this is in mm as well as this is in mm. So finally, what you're going to get, a value of 1.22. The units of 1.22 is minutes. So time, the cutting time is going to be 1.22. So this kind of questions may come for you in 2 marks or in 5 marks. So this is actually from last year's question paper. So fine, I think with this, just I'm stopping your this drilling. Almost whatever the portion, mostly in drilling machine, all the syllabus we covered. So even we have solved a few problems also. Similar kind of problems may come in your exam, and whatever you discuss, please follow. So next class we are going to discuss about boring. So still in drilling, there is one more portion is left out, that is about boring machine. That boring machines we can discuss in next class. So any questions from this? If no questions, maybe we can stop it here. And if anybody having any question, we can ask me in next class.